Today's video is all about JOYSTREAM, the streaming platform empowering users, creators, and builders. Guys, today we're going to be doing a deep dive into this project, figuring out whether it has what it takes to get into our portfolios for the up-and-coming bull run. We're going to be doing a deep dive looking at some of the value propositions, the overall team, the tokenomics, and much, much more. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. And guys, I think we may have found an opportunity here. JOYSTREAM, a great idea here, guys. We're going to be doing a deep dive, of course, looking to some of the details with regards to this project. Guys, I've been researching this project for the last couple of days, and I feel like I finally got a grasp of what this is all about. Honestly, there's a lot happening here, a lot of good stuff. I think that this could be a really good gem for the up-and-coming bull run, but we're gonna have to make that decision once we get through some of these details, guys. Look, we're gonna be using this website. This website right now is gonna be our main platform to kind of navigate this project. We're gonna look through all the links as best as we can to see, you know, how the overall information is laid out to people like you and I, people that want to become holders, want the information laid out to us nice and clearly. So let's see if this website does its job. And of course, we're gonna not only be critiquing the project along the way, but we're going to also be critiquing how this website does with regards to, you know, its delivery. Its delivery is very important here, guys. So far, so good. If you look at here, what's happening, guys, in the first second, you get a lot of good engagement here on this website. You know, I critique websites very harshly, and this one right here does its job. Like even the fact that you have a good layout here with this dude's face right here, it's really good. It's engaging, it's captivating. So this is important, and it gives you an idea of right away what it wants to achieve. And basically, it is a streaming platform. It is a competitor to Rumble, YouTube, and, you know, all the rest that offer a lot of the, you know, creator distribution possibilities, guys. And this is something that we need to kind of you know, just critique for a second or talk about for a minute, is that, you know, software companies at the end of the day, what they are really trying to do, because, you know, cryptocurrency at the end of the day is a software solution companies. That's all they are, software solution companies. And I'm not trying to downplay it. In fact, I'm trying to spread some reality here, is that they're trying to create solutions to real world problems. And for me, that's the most important value proposition. Is there a problem, and is this software company providing the solution? And we know blockchain technology offers a lot of solutions, but we also see that blockchain technologies can be used for things that don't offer solutions to real world problems that people are facing on a daily basis. Now, in my opinion, guys, here, obviously all of this is my opinion. None of what I'm going to be talking about in this video is financial advice, but what I am saying here is that I believe that JOYSTREAM is trying to tackle a problem, a real problem that many of us are facing, including myself as an individual, as a content creator, in a topic, as you know, cryptocurrency, that can be frowned upon by many, including people that don't want to know the truth or to spread truth about what cryptocurrency in general can offer the general society. So for me, this is a really good opportunity to touch base with the things that I'm facing, the problems that I am facing, and at the end of the day, shed some light to the rest of you that, you know, there are people, there are companies, there are projects out there that are trying to do the right thing and use technology to solve real world problems. Number one criteria for me when I'm looking into a project is the software solving a problem, right? Because if there's no problem, who's going to want to get invested into a solution that doesn't solve any problem? Just think about it. Okay, so let's continue here, guys. We're going to be using the website, of course, to see if this website actually holds up. And so far, so good. I like this. So it looks like a very typical layout of a streaming platform or a, you know, content distribution platform such as YouTube and Rumble and all of the rest, right? And of course, you know, when we talk about Rumble, we talk about YouTube, we talk about all these platforms, we talk about the fact that, you know, there is some issues in the current media that, you know, we don't want to address. And I don't want to get political here on the channel whatsoever, but imagine the idea about coupling decentralized, you know, autonomy here, because it is a DAO DAO, let's put it here, decentralized autonomous organization, in such a way that, you know, maybe there is a bit of freedom to be had here with the way this application is, you know, basically running. And that's what we kind of need, guys. We want an area where we can basically be vocal without constraint. So within reason, of course, within reason. But at the end of the day, this is the bread and butter that I am actually interested in. So let's continue, guys. I just want to continue what's going on here. We'll go up at the top once again, once I'm done first on this landing page. There's a lot of tabs up here, a few tabs up here that we're going to talk about in a second. But you can see key metrics. The ticker is Joy. That's the ticker for the token, let's call it a token for now, or the coin. Okay, it's a Joy project. It's a Joy token. The total supply is slightly over 1 billion, guys. One of the main questions that a lot of people that look into JOYSTREAM is, what's up with the max supply? Why isn't there a max supply? And I did a bit of digging. Of course, I'm going to sidestep here and just plug, you know, their Discord. Their Discord, as of now, I've been doing deep dives for a while now, personally, and also here on the channel. And I've never seen a Discord or a community that was so helpful and, you know, positive about giving information and being there for a person that really, truly, sincerely was asking questions that, you know, basically I was grilling people, and they were happy to give me the info with clarity and with detail. And for me, that's a sign of confidence. That's a sign of, you know, interest of moving forward with the community and growing a community based on factual information, not a faith-based system. And, you know, I always say that it's not about faith. No faith-based systems for me. I am not interested in faith-based systems. And currently, JOYSTREAM, the way the community has responded to all my questions, and guys, you know, I grilled them pretty much. They all came out ready to help without relying on, oh, you just got to have faith. No, it's not about faith. They came out with numbers, statistics, factual information, and for me that was perfect, right? So good stuff here. And I'm just going to say about that max supply concept, you know, it's not an unusual thing to see a layer one, because it is a layer one, to not have a max supply, guys. We know of the biggest altcoin out there, the biggest altcoin that we know, which is Ethereum, doesn't have a max supply, okay? So this is something that we got to understand, and it is a proof of stake, and so is JOYSTREAM. It's a proof of stake consensus mechanism, but we also have to understand that the way we govern our economics, or in this case tokenomics, you know, there's lots of different recipes to make this thing work. It doesn't have to have a max supply. And in fact, their argument, because I did have a bit of a conversation with one of the Discord members, the majority of the argument is the fact that, you know, you want that flexibility, and I totally understand, right? And because it is governed by a DAO, it's not like the team's gonna go and just start printing Joy tokens. They don't have that option, right? Every decision is going to be governed by the DAO through a basically voting. They're gonna have to, token holders are going to be able to vote, and they're going to be able to vote for if there are going to be any tokens entering circulation. Now you got to understand what happens here. If the market, or if the token holders agree to have more tokens introduced in circulation, yeah, you might think, well, that might, you know, introduce a supply shock and bring down the price. But if the members are interested, there must be a reason. There must be a reason why it may be necessary for the economy, number one, or even the overall ecosystem requiring more tokens. Okay, so this is a very important thing. And if the team, okay, doesn't have much pull here, but if the members that are voting agree that the demand is going to outperform supply, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if more tokens enter circulation. Okay, so that's something you got to understand. It's all about the utility. It's all about the ecosystem. It's about the use case of this token. And if there is use case and there's demand, the supply at the end of the day will get eaten up real quick, and the price will continue going up. So it's all about the fact, in my opinion. Obviously, guys, I encourage you guys to do your research, and I also encourage the team to perhaps, you know, get in touch and and maybe iron some of these things out to add upon what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, I think that overall, if the overall interest in the token goes up, it doesn't matter how many tokens get into circulation. But mind you guys, just as a side note, the same way Ethereum has a burning mechanism, so does Joy. So that's another aspect of the tokenomics that we got to consider. That although somebody might say, well, you know, there's a max supply, they can print tokens at will. That's not, first of all, the DAO governs that, first of all. Secondly, there's a burning mechanism that, you know, basically counterbalances the tokens that could be entering into circulation based on rewards and so on and so forth. So there's a lot to be said here, guys. I'm not going to say that I am absolutely, you know, I did do a deep dive here, but of course there's a lot of moving parts that we also have to consider, and don't judge each project the same all the time. Like every project has their own recipe for success with regards to tokenomics, and of course I see similarities between Ethereum and JOYSTREAM here. Okay, so if you want to make that correlation, if you want to make that you know, analogy, that would be totally healthy in my opinion. Okay, so fully diluted valuation here is at about 35 million, 36 million. Guys, this is a baby. It's very, very small. It's not large cap whatsoever. It is a very small project. We'll talk about the market cap. We'll talk about, you know, my projections and so on and so forth in a second. Okay, let's continue going down. What else do we have? One platform, multiple apps. So guys, this is interesting. Okay, the ecosystem and the plan behind building this. Okay, and I find this to be directly in tune with some of the trends that I'm seeing also on YouTube, especially within the content creation behind cryptocurrency. Okay, so follow along with me. At the end of the day, what we're seeing is a lot of the heavyweights, the larger content creators. In fact, what they do is they bring on other, let's call them content creators or presenters. Okay, so one channel, multiple presenters, multiple segments within one channel, presenting all day long. What I like about this is that it allows an individual to create their own basically application. Okay, it allows them to use JOYSTREAM to create their own platform and create an app on JOYSTREAM. Okay, now what that means is that if you own a channel, if you have a channel with multiple creators, you can actually have your own app and have channels within your own application that are directly underneath or within your organization. So almost like thinking about having your own, you know, YouTube or your own gleev in this case. So gleev is one of the applications that are on JOYSTREAM. Okay, they are right now the equivalent to, again, YouTube and Rumble and those type of software solutions, it's called them. But this is a software solution that is completely decentralized. Okay, so this is a very important thing to consider, is that here you can create applications like gleev, right? So it's an app built on JOYSTREAM. See, check out the other apps, right? So there's two so far. You can actually be a developer and create an application on JOYSTREAM similar to gleev, where you can have your own channels being basically distributed through your own application. Guys, this for me is really, really interesting, right? Instead of having multiple presenters on one YouTube channel or one channel in this case, you can have your own application that has almost like a network of individuals that are under your branch or under your umbrella or under your basically distribution channel. You have your own distribution channel. For me, this is very, very interesting. Okay, so we're going to look at this in a little bit more detail. What I'm going to do is open this up in a new tab for now, and I'm going to get into a little bit more detail. And of course, we have another application number 2, which is basically some sort of media platform here for education, news, science, entertainment, and so on and so forth. So there's you can see another implementation of a very similar thing. Like you can distribute content very similar to other media platforms, right? So you can see that it's just catered to a different audience. It's almost like its own niche of media. So I'm trying to wrap my head around this and find a great analogy. And the only thing that I can it's like a network. It's like television network. Under each network, you have multiple shows. You can create your own television network, let's say here, and basically introduce content creators to your own network. So you can also see like there are content creators in cryptocurrency that kind of resemble this type of network effect that they're trying to achieve, and they can create their own network. This is interesting. interesting. Like, for example, me, I have BTD Crypto. If I had somebody working with me that I wanted to bring in onto my channel, instead of bringing them on my channel, I can create a network and get their own identity onto my network using this type of structure. Guys, this is a very, very interesting as a value proposition. Let's continue going down. How about starting your own video community? This is exactly what I mean. They're just kind of for developers. You can start creating your own community by creating your own JOYSTREAM application. Okay, let's move on. Start your community, customize, pick a name, a logo, launch, make your web app available, build a community, and earn. So this is what basically you can do. You can customize your own application and launch it and build it, and then you have your own distribution channel. Great stuff. And there's a lot more detail, guys. Honestly, go read, go dig around. I'm just gonna try to get to it because I don't want to make this video 5 hours long. You get my point. Open source code base with rich features. Again, you're going to get a lot of this rewards for publishing your own videos. There's something with regards to this that I do have a bit of a concern. Let's put it that way. But we'll talk about that in a second. I think the website will get there. And we do have a high reward scenario where if you're a small creator, you are going to get rewarded much more than a lot of the traditional outlets that we're used to, such as YouTube. Okay, so this is something a strategy, of course, to build the foundations of streamers and people on the platform, and that's a way of giving them incentives to join. Okay, so by the way, I did join, and I'm going to show you what it looks like from the back end type of thing. Video monetization when NFT sales and royalties. You can sell your videos as NFTs. Of course, multiple streams of income. This is something that we all look for and we all plan for. Continue sold NFTs already. There's some of them already been sold for a few to about 100 joys. To look at this one, 500 joy tokens. You get what I mean. So you can actually sell your videos as NFTs. This is something that we haven't really seen done with NFTs yet. They've been all JPEGs. Slowly we're seeing the gaming concept do in-game assets, which is great. So back to my if you've been following me here on the channel, I've always said that the JPEGs are just proof of concept. They're just proof of concept. If we can do it with a JPEG, you can do it with pretty much any digital content with a URL, and that's basically where we're going here. These videos have URLs, and these videos can be sold based with a very similar concept or idea to the way we've been selling JPEGs as NFTs. So let's think about that. Let's continue. It's time for the community to become channel's main stakeholder. Okay, fine. A community can get involved and become a part of the community. Of course, I think a lot of these features might be coming in soon. Active range split and so on. So a lot of these cool features of getting communities involved, and no monkey business. I like that. This should be the greatest time in history for creative people, and I think we might have finally figured it out. Honestly, this is what we really need. We need to you got to admit, our current scenarios that we have, the way we distribute our media, they've been around for a long time already, and we're due for an upgrade. We're due for an upgrade, and I'm hoping that we can see projects like JOYSTREAM lead the way and definitely get the first mover advantage. Although in crypto land, we've seen some projects already try and not really take advantage of their first mover, in fact. And we'll talk about some of those in a second. Due to the network effect, economies of scale, regulation, politics, and all of this, guys, there's an opportunity here. Read the manifesto, guys. The manifesto is actually decent. Let me open this up. It gets into a lot of detail, and you can see the problem. And they follow. It's like their software. Oh, guys, they know about software. They know how to sell software, guys. This is the reality. You have to identify the problem and then go on and explain how this software is going to solve the problem. And they have goals. They got their thesis going, guys. This is a well-researched, well-described an educational opportunity for those of you that, not only for JOYSTREAM, but they're educating you into what exactly you should be looking for in a project that's trying to find a solution to a problem. So accountability, scale, voice, there's a lot of stuff here, guys. I'm not going to go through all of this, but I'm very impressed with this document right here. A lot to be said, a lot to learn from. If you're getting into JOYSTREAM, I would suggest that you take some time and dig through all of this, because there's a lot of good info. Okay, let's get back to the website. I'm not going to get into too much, but I'm going to give you this based on this manifesto, 10 out of 10. This is a great piece of content here. Go check it out. Not a creator. Help build the future with us. Okay, council, you can become a part of the DAO. Okay, so that's very important. Joystream is a video platform managed by a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, which means there are all sorts of ways you can join and earn. So you can contribute to the project. You can end up working for the project and earn tokens. There's a lot of ways that you're going to see the Joy tokens get into distribution, and we're going to talk about that, of course, in a second. We're going to use this website as our main platform for navigating. Joystream DAO, there's an actual let's call it forum where you can get part of the community, and you can see let me see, I already have this open. This is it, becoming a member, and you get access to a lot of these tabs and a lot of these different levels, current budget. So in order for you to get access to some of these, you need to be holding a certain amount of tokens, and then you can become an active community member where you can basically get active and talk and you know, vote in elections and so on and so forth. So much. If you want to get involved, there's a lot of opportunities here. Okay, so that's an interesting thing as well. You can see it's very community driven, and as a person, as a guy that I've been very vocal about embracing or supporting you know, projects that embrace decentralization. For me, it's a big objective. For me, it's the biggest objective. I rather put focus and allocate capital. Let's get into a bit of a trading scenario for a second. Position size. I rather get into a bigger position with a project that is looking for and embracing decentralization to its maximum than a other project that is not. Okay, for me, it's based on my own core, let's say, thesis in itself. And at the end of the day, I would like to you know, encourage everybody to really have their own thesis and think about why you're looking for a particular project, to invest in a particular project. And if it's based on what blockchain technology has to offer, it's all about the decentralization, guys. And the DAO is one of those features that, you know, resemble that. Look, they do identify the necessity to make key strategic decisions, but at least it's democratize that and bring that into you know, a way where the community can get all involved. So guys, this is really, really healthy. And of course, we look for healthy scenarios here on the channel when we talk about these projects. So guys, we made it to the bottom. That was a very, very decent landing page. Lots of good info. And as we come here to the footer, you got useful links, brand guidance, privacy, block explorer, chain dashboard, socials, and we can talk about the socials in a second. Okay, let's go right back up here for a second, and let's look at the top tabs quickly. Usually the landing page is enough. There's a light paper, and it's not a full-fledged white paper, so let's open this in a new tab. I'm not sure if it does already, but I don't want to take the chance to exit. So let's do this, and you can see it's a PDF, and you can scroll through a lot of this. It's similar to a white paper, but I think it doesn't offer a lot of the technicals that we are actually looking for. I like this, again, with that solution. So while we're here, I just want to kind of like talk about one thing here that I've, you know, it's not that it's concerning, but I'm wondering if this could be an opportunity for a Joystream to consider, or maybe try to integrate, or maybe address in some of their white paper or in their media content. So you can see that, okay, it is a DAO, which is all great, and we talk about this. And now these two concepts, the content storage and the content delivery. So for me, I start to ask and start to question. Now, yes, it's governed by a DAO. So let me read this out loud. Large data assets like video and images are stored in infrastructure paid for, okay, and operated by the DAO. Okay, fine. The DAO is it's supposed to be a decentralized organization. We get that. But how can we embrace decentralization even further? Is there a way that we can use like an IPFS type of protocol or something like that that could really distribute even the hosting of some of this content, so it's not, you know, centralized in a single server? For me, that would be a one step, you know, next level, maybe one step in the next direction of decentralization and adopting decentralization. Like, look, there's nothing here that you know, spells out that this is what's being done, so I'm just throwing it out there. But okay, it's governed by the DAO, but at the end of the day, can we take it to the next level? Can we take the decentralized aspect to the next level? Because at the end of the day, what we are doing is relying on a centralized network here, or a centralized server to host all these videos, which in itself is not complete decentralizations, regardless if it's governed by a DAO DAO or operated by the DAO or not. Okay, we're relying on a one single choke point. So for me, that's a bit of a, I'm curious. I would like to throw that out there. Content delivery is a very similar thing. They're talking about CDN. And again, the distribution, it's all about coming from an operated by a DAO, one single, level of distribution. And for me, that leads me to believe that maybe there's a way technologically, using IPFS as a potential, scenario that they could be leveraged. You could leverage that type of technology and get that involved. But other than that, guys, pretty good, right? Pretty good. Nothing to say other than that. The creator tokens, all of this is great. JOYSTREAM, YouTube, this is interesting. Library, we know that it took a bit of a hit lately. Of course, there's things happening in regulation. Rumble is the one that is kind of like hitting it big right now with this whole concept of freedom of speech and all of that. But wouldn't it be nice to completely legitimize, let's say not even legitimize, but structurally, like not even guarantee, because nothing is guaranteed, guys, but structurally create some integrity behind that freedom of speech through technologies that so far can provide that solution, right? So JOYSTREAM this is why they have all these check marks at the end of the day: open social graph, video NFTs, creator tokens, storage, delivery. Remember we talked about this, and the DAO. Okay, great. But one of the projects that is Theta, unfortunately for me, I got into Theta really, really early as an investor myself, and yeah, Theta at the end of the day didn't hit my expectations for a little while, but then after that, with regards to its backend, what it was actually building and doing, its product in itself, it lost its first mover advantage, in my opinion. So for me, that's an important thing. I hope that JOYSTREAM can, retain its current position as being one of the first movers right now that can actually gain some traction, because they have a product that's actually working and actually is working decently. Okay, so we're going to talk about that too, because I have some videos that I've already posted and I've been playing around with, which is pretty cool. And I plan on continuing to post on gleev, because I feel like, why not support the decentralization? Let's continue here. The social graph, content, metadata, data assets, okay, channels, profiles, a bit of here, creator rewards. I know we're all interested in that. Video NFTs, we talked about that. We're going to kind of creator tokens. We know this is a little bit of what the landing page and the applications. You can create your own application because the software is open source, and you can eventually YouTube vampire hack. Okay, this is the thing that kind of bothers me a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. There's a better spot on the website that they really talk about. It's called the YouTube sync. Let me try to get back to, because they get visuals and all kinds of light paper about governance token. Maybe it's under the token perhaps, but you can sync up your YouTube channel, which for me is, at the end of the day, it's a great feature, no doubt. But you're asking, basically, you're asking YouTube to use the API to allow a third party and a competitor to scrape their website and take the data and reuse or repurpose the data that they have on their website to post on the competition's website. Now, this is for me a little bit of an issue, given that I worry that people that have a lot of invested in YouTube, and I'm not talking about financial investment, time, community, their brand, so on and so forth, that it could put them at risk. Okay, there has been reports that Rumble does a very similar thing where you can put, link up your YouTube channel, and then the YouTube videos get directly synced up with Rumble. And for me, that's a bit of an issue, because some people have been reporting that their view count and their overall engagement and everything has been coming down since that sync. So for me, it's like, am I going to be willing to take a risk, especially for those of us that are using YouTube as our primary source of income, or have a lot invested on there? They're a big stakeholder into their YouTube channel, and they don't want to risk their YouTube channel at the end of the day. So I think that, although I'm going to find it on the website where they kind of talk about that in a little bit more detail, and they kind of give you a sense of security. They really do try. The JOYSTREAM team does really try to give you that sense of security, where don't worry, because everything's going to be fine. But really, it's not a faith-based system here, and I'm not even certain that will be the case. Okay, so when we cross upon that on the website to see if they have some extra information for us. We'll talk about it then. So if we get onto the about, okay, let's talk about the team. We built JOYSTREAM. Who's we? That's the question. Who's we? Guys, there's no we. There's a bunch of icons. Well, they're very engaging. They're really nice, but we don't know who they are. But the good news is, although they're not, necessarily fully doxed, the good news is that a lot of the main person behind the team, which is Badejo right now, he's definitely vocal. He's definitely out there. He's on socials. He's making himself very present. Although he's not formally saying that he's the co-founder here on the website, he makes himself known very, very transparently in other forms. Okay, so this is something that we got to consider. It would be nice to have a fully doxed team and have some faces here on the website. This is something that right now is pretty much industry standard. But I have seen a correlation between companies that basically, or projects that define themselves as DAOs, feel no need to actually become fully doxed, which, that's fine if that's what you feel. But I think the general public would like to see some faces to names, and it does really help out to grease those, wheels especially when you want to get people to hold the token. Okay, so let's consider that, but let's stick with that topic for a second here. So I did a bit of research. First of all, let's go to their Twitter page. If you go to their X page, if you notice, Badejo is Mender is the co-founder. He said it himself right here in this, and this is the official JOYSTREAM X page, by the way, stream. So you're more than welcome to check that out. He does posts. He does a lot of interviews. He's been interviewed on other YouTube channels, and that's great. You get a lot of information. He's a well-spoken individual. He knows his stuff. He's been around. He makes reference to other technologies, other disruptive technologies of the past that are very similar to content distribution that we are trying to build today. And he does have a background, and a very, very strong background in computer science and all of this. So for me, this is a great thing. So although the team is not doxed, at least he puts a face to the name in other aspects. Okay, so pretty cool. We'll talk about the social media aspect in a second, but let's stick with the team for a moment. I do feel like I'm being a bit of a private investigator, but this is part of the gig, right? We want to know what this team is about. So the JOYSTREAM DAO in itself has their own LinkedIn page, and you can see that there are people. Let's see, these are some people, employees, 10 employees, and you can see you can get people you may know, and show more. These are different people here, jobs, posts about, let's see what we got here, nothing really, joystream.org, that's where we're coming from, and you can see some posts that they got here. Now to the right, you can see you have the Genesis, JSG. So this is an important one. Why? Because this is where you're going to get the majority of the connections to JOYSTREAM in itself. If you go people, there's 9 people, and there's a little bit of reference towards different individuals here, and 9 employees. You can check out the 9 employees. Some of them are here. You can see, feel free to dig around and see what they're about. Software engineers, blockchain, distributed systems, a lot of good, talented individuals here. But if you're looking for the main dude that we've been talking about, this guy is a champion. He's good. He's got everything that we're looking for. This is him right here. And again, he's part of the JOYSTREAM. You can see that he's part of the founding. We're going to talk about the founding group here. I'm assuming that we can refer to this as like the main bread and butter behind the DAO. Okay, so he's the founder, CEO of Genesis. So at its earliest stages, the majority of people that are in this type of organization, let's say, are early adopters. So this is really important to understand, right? And I believe a lot of them have a lot to do with the way the DAO is governed. If you look down, universities, Oxfords, all of this, great experiences, great sorry guys, it's background, a lot of good stuff here. The team is decent, I'll be honest. The team is decent. There's a lot of experience here, but at the end of the day, a little bit more clarity as to who's on the team and some of the experiences that they may have would be awesome to give us a bit of confidence with the team in the background altogether. But at least they're he's making face, and he's coming out there answering questions and really giving his time out there to clarify some of the ambiguities behind the project. So we get to meet him. At least at the end of the day, we get to meet him on the platform. So that's good. Okay, so that's enough about that. Not fully doxed, unfortunately, but a little bit of information if you're willing to dig around behind the team. So that's good. Okay, so a bit of a negative, but then we counterbalance with a bit of a positive. Okay, so let's go back to where we were at here, the team. So again, a lot of these guys can be found on the Discord, guys. Badejo himself is there on the Discord. I'm sure he'll be welcoming, and there's a lot of guys there that are willing to answer a lot of questions. Like I mentioned in the past, the Discord, I had a great experience, better than any other so far. They were willing to help and dig deep into some of my questions, and this is some of the community members and the team. So the investors, okay, so there's a lot of investment happening here, and as far as I think venture capitalists here, Alliance, and all of these guys. Honestly, I don't know exactly who these people are, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of investment happening in this project, and you're going to see how the token distribution kind of aligns with the amount of influence these investors may have over the current total supply that's in circulation. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a second. We'll keep on going. A lot of press conference, a lot of press release, a lot of good safety. JOYSTREAM blockchain audited. They're audited by two reports, which are good, and that's about it. Okay, so a bit of a bit of everything here. Negative, some positive, some good stuff, I guess. Nothing too crazy to worry about, in my opinion, as about now. Okay, so the community, what do we got here? Discord, of course, go check it out. Gleev, this is a good one. Handbook, this is another great solution to finding problems or questions that you may have. Let's see if I got that open, the handbook. If not, no worries, we'll click that and we'll go see this handbook. It looks like a white paper. It does, but they call it a light paper. So it's technical, contains a substantial level of detail, but it might need a little bit more, which is totally fine. Okay, so, and they're coming out with their full-fledged white paper very soon, but you're going to get a lot of the information that you may be interested in right here. So what I like is this page right here, the Joy token. They talk about how the token actually is playing out with regards to tokenomics. Okay, so very similar to how Bitcoin has Satoshis, they have happy tokens. So right away you can get into the mindset that they expect that the tokens in circulation are going to become too large to be called, let's say, Joy tokens, right? We're going to have to kind of, get into fractions of the Joy tokens and start calling them happy tokens, which is totally fine. Okay, they could be part of their marketing, which is great. So it's going to be basically, this is the ratio. One Joy token equivalent to this number right here. It's quite a bit of tokens, but it's all about total utility and its value per token, right? That's the thing you got to consider. So don't really worry about this too much. It's all arbitrary until we actually get this thing rolling and see use case happening. But this is where things kind of matter. Okay, the Genesis block. This is what happened at Genesis when this project was actually official, and the release date, I think it was December 22, if I'm not mistaken. And you can see that this is this release schedule. Okay, so the vesting schedule as far as how these tokens are going to be released. Right now we're about month 10 in. Okay, and the reality is that they've only been out for a few months, so 10 months in, and we're getting this amount of tokens being released into circulation. So this is also something to really consider. Okay, now the tokens that enter in circulation are going to be linear, and they're going to be coming out, I think it's every second or so. There's a few tokens being released, and you can see that over time, more and more are going to be hitting to the market until we reach 100%. Okay, so it's something to just be aware of. At least it's not going to be like a steep overall coming down a bunch of tokens all at once. It's something that the market could absorb nice and slowly. As the demand keeps on growing, it will absorb tokens nice and seamlessly. That's what we kind of want, nice and slow and steady release, which is healthy. Okay, but what you got to realize is that the tokens that are the total tokens that are in supply, the billion tokens, are already basically allocated, in the sense that the token allocation is, the community founding members, they own a significant amount. Let's see if I can show this to you in a different way. I think, no, let's go back for a second. So there's these two tabs here at the bottom. Percentage of supply. Here we go. Okay, so this is fine. Community founding members. Okay. They own 21% of the tokens. Eventually, they're going to have 21% of the tokens. And then the Genesis founding members, okay, or the JS Genesis, remember the LinkedIn, they're going to have 31.5% of the tokens. And then you have investors, which, you know, again, who are these investors and what they're about? We talked about that also. It was in the about page of all those, you know, looked like venture capitalist funds and all of that. 32%. Okay, so just right here, these top three, they own a significant amount of the tokens. It is, in fact, a little bit too much, in my opinion, to kind of wrap your head around. I know how, you know, somebody coming around and looking at this table will say, if you couple this all together, and it's fair to say the community founding members and they're both founding members. What differentiates them? The reality. What's the difference between the community founding members and the JS Genesis members, really, and the investors, really? They could all, you know, really be jumbled up into one big category because they're all early stakeholders, right? So they pretty much represent the same sentiment. They're all in it for the same purpose, to get in early, to pump this thing nice and strong because there's good potential. That could be what their overall mindset is, and that's totally fine. But we got to understand is that they hold a significant amount of the tokens. Okay, so, and that's, you know, absolutely normal when you're looking at this as a business perspective. Small businesses need investors. Small businesses need capital. They need liquidity. They need this thing to get them going. They need a marketing. And in my opinion, I would have liked to see a little bit of an allocation towards marketing. They need an ambassador behind this, the gleev particularly, maybe a social media ambassador, somebody to really push their brand a little bit amongst the community. So where's the marketing dollars? Where's it? You know, right now we're seeing a lot of this happening, you know, within those three categories, and that's a significant amount of the token. So membership, airdrop, okay, very little, and strategic partners, okay, fine, and the reserved, you can see the rest of them are very little in comparison to those top three. Very questionable, of course, but again, somebody in a business perspective might say, look, what can we do? We need the liquidity. We need investment. We cannot do it on our own. We need you know, capital as a tool to get this thing going. What can we say about that? Do you believe in the project or not? Do you like the fundamentals or not? And if you do, you don't mind saying, like, I'm looking in the future. This is an investment. Investing in these founders and in these investors, basically allowing them to pour capital and use their connections and use their business acumen or whatever they're offering to the table as you know, consultants or whatever. They will definitely be able to propel this project to the next level. And if that's a strategic play on their part, we gotta basically take it and understand this is what you're getting into. Okay, so let's move on. That's about it. There's a bit of negativity surrounding this, but this is the name of the game. This is what we have to really understand. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, this is good. This is not bad. A bit of that. Let's go see. Okay, the founding members. Let's kind of dig through this. There's not much here. I'm not going to get into history. It tells you a bit about the history, and you're more than welcome to check that out. JIPs, okay, and a lot of, you know, blockchain. By the way, guys, this is a substrate. It's basically built. Let's call it layer 0 on Polkadot, and it's interoperable. It's multi-chain. It's a lot, but it's not really being used as multi-chain currently right now. It's built with Rust, which is really a really good programming language for development, which is good for blockchain development, which is good. I'm going to keep things very simple here, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we're going to you can become a staker, a validator, and you can be part of, you know, there's a membership. You can memberships, and you nominate validators. Basically, validators are nominated, and it uses a proof of stake system. So all of this is intertwined within its whole structure behind validation. council, work groups. You know, I read somewhere where you can actually get involved in the actual company and get rewarded, and so on and so forth. So look at bounties. There's a lot happening here. You're definitely welcome to take a look at this. I would if you're interested in it, but the majority of us are interested in the big picture stuff, and these details do definitely fall into play as you keep on digging around. Okay, let's move on. Back to the website. This is the community token. Let's see. It probably repeats a bit of what we already talked about. We're not going to get into it too much if it repeats, but we can kind of skim through gleev, and this is where I'm going to be focusing on in a second. Where can you buy it? On MEXC. So unfortunately, guys, there's, you know, the only place where you can buy it on a centralized exchange right now is MEXC. And for me, this could be a negative and both a positive right now, because I think it's, you know, JOYSTREAM could be really, really interesting and bullish ultimately. I feel like this could be an opportunity, but at the end of the day, we have to consider the negativity behind being listed on only one exchange that's not even the biggest. Okay, it's about liquidity, right? It's all about liquidity, and the fact that what about if something were to happen where you can't get access to MEXC, or what about happens where MEXC can't handle the overall volume or whatever. There's not enough volume happening, and that's one of the issues that I'm seeing with the JOYSTREAM token with regards to trading volume. Its trading volume is super low, and it's very explainable. It's because it's only listed on MEXC. Now that's one of the issues. You want liquidity. You want to be able to get in and out of a token, especially if you're trading. You know, my whole, you know, meat and potatoes here on the channel is about trading, but as a trader, I also want to make sure that the token or the project has great fundamentals. Fundamentally, so far we're on point here with JOYSTREAM, but when it comes to a trading capabilities to be able to get in and out of the market with liquidity, I don't know if MEXC is something that we can completely rely on with that much security. So that for me is a bit of a negative aspect. But from a positive perspective, all we need to do is see JOYSTREAM being listed on some other exchanges, even exchanges at the same level of MEXC, just to bring in more volume, like even, you know, KuCoin or BitGet or Bybit or anything. Forget it, the heavyweights like Binance and Coinbase, and, you know, even if we amalgamated a few of those mid-tier to topish tiers exchanges, there would be a little bit more volume, and at the end of the day, bring in a lot more retail into the trading of things here, which would be really good for liquidity. Okay, so let's take that as both a negative and a positive, because we've always done that with other you know, deep dives. But at the end of the day, from a liquidity perspective, it is a negative. It's not the greatest. Okay, so let's move on here. How can you earn joy? This is interesting. So this is how tokens are going to be released into the market. They're going to, by publishing videos, of course, partake in a DAO Council reward scheme, or get compensated for a YouTube Sync program. Remember, we talked about the YouTube Sync program. I'm not crazy about it because I don't know enough, and I don't know if JOYSTREAM can guarantee enough to us about this this syncing feature. Like, you know, syncing up my YouTube channel, for example, am I going to get punished? And I definitely don't want to get punished anywhere, right? So that's one of the things that we want to keep an eye on. So no punishments anywhere. Sell your NFTs. We talked about sell your creator token, okay? Become a gateway operator. Join a working group. This is what I was talking about there. You can work part-time for the DAO or something like that, earn some income and validate and stake. Very typical. So this is really good, and some different ways that we haven't seen really a lot of in the crypto space, like working for the group. That's interesting. Anyways, let's continue here. What can you do with Joy Token? Be a part of the group, okay? Publish, participate in elections, interact with others. So very social based thing. Nominate validators, engage in proposals. This is the utility behind the token. What can you do with it? This is important. And as JOYSTREAM becomes popular, let's say it becomes interesting and it becomes in demand, the Joy token will be sought after because of its utility. And if its utility is there, which is basically the ability to publish and participate and, you know, invest and so on and so far, you will see that the JOYSTREAM price will, the Joy token will go up in value. Okay, so something to consider. Now, this is a really good section, the supply. This is where a lot of people have tons of questions, and that was it said very clear to me on the Discord when I was talking to one of the members there, is that this is one of the biggest questions that a lot of people have, to the point that one of them created a very, very engaging little snippet of a video that kind of clarified everything in a great way, very clear, very professionally made, and they're not ready to release it just yet, so they're still working on that little video or whatever they're working on. But the gist of it is, number one, is that the max supply is not really a necessity in all cases. There are other ways of controlling supply so that it doesn't become inflationary. And this is their take, right? They want to have the flexibility by not having a max supply, but at the same time, introduce mechanisms the same way Ethereum has their mechanism to control the supply. So we're going to talk about how tokens are going to get into circulation. Validators are rewarded. Counselors, workers, leads are paid out. Creators are being rewarded by publishing high quality content, JOYSTREAM based applications. So the app, so like creating a JOYSTREAM app, and then in bringing creators onto the application and growing that engagement. Financial spending proposals. This is interesting. Okay, this is where they're going to keep themselves a little bit open here. If they need to basically create some tokens, and remember, they're not just going to create them out of thin air. It's going to be voted upon on the DAO that if they need it to, let's say, get listed somewhere, they got to pay for listing fee, or, they need a few more tokens for, to distribute to creators or get some sort of celebrities on board or whatever the case may be. This may be something that the DAO may want to consider and vote upon, and then they may issue more tokens. And if the Joy project is strong, those tokens will get eaten up or even staked or held because the JOYSTREAM project is strong, right? So this is all about fundamentals, and if fundamentally the project can handle it, who cares how much enter in circulation, as long as the overall supply gets basically eaten up. That's what we want to see. The demand has to outperform supply, and that decision has to be done critically. Joy tokens are burned. This is where we're getting into the important aspect behind the max supply. So a creator token is sold, burnt. An NFT is sold, getting some fees are burned. Application fees charged, burnt. New content is published, burnt. So you can see there's a lot of opportunities to counterbalance that potential inflationary aspect of not having a max supply. So we're going to have to see as the ecosystem grows and we see a lot of the exchanges happening, where we see transactions happening, you will also see a deflationary scenario happen to the token, and obviously affecting the token price. Less supply, equal demand or more demand will cause a price to go up. Okay, so keep this all in mind. It's not a negative always. Okay, we got to understand that there are other factors, other criteria, or other metrics that we got to include into figuring out what's going on. Frequently asked questions: what's the purpose? Where do you get it? How much is it worth? How you get my point. Go check it out, guys. A lot there. Stay up to date. You can join up for the newsletter. Speaking of staying up to date, guys, so there's no real official roadmap. And we're very used to that when we go to websites. When we go to websites on the projects, we want to know, like, more or less. It doesn't have to be to the hour, to the minute, because that's one of the things that a lot of these projects don't want to basically do is, hold themselves accountable to milestones. And as you know, token holders and investors and so on, people that want to become stakeholders in the network, basically they want to know where the team is going, where are they allocating their time and efforts. And without that clarity, it just gives us a little bit of, again, more ambiguity, and less ambiguity is always better. So in this case, what do we rely on? We rely on Twitter. We rely on a blog that they got going on. Let me see if I can find that tab real quick. I'm going to show you this little blog right here. They got some good announcements, weekly roundup. So at least they're doing their FaceTime. But again, it's a working thing. It's a working roadmap where they keep on updating and giving you sneak peeks into what's going on, which is great, no doubt. In fact, I like that. It's in some may argue that this is more valuable than having a static roadmap, and I could agree that there are some attributes that are a lot more bullish or a lot more beneficial in keeping an active roadmap. But at the same time, it's all about what's the vision. What's the vision? Where's the direction? And the roadmap will give you the long-term direction, or at least an idea to say, quarterly, to get an idea of where things are going. That for me is an interesting one. We need to get, basically, I think every team should have something, not just completely ignore it, right? Just to kind of fall back on and say, look, this is where the team is going, and let's see, and then use these blog posts to kind of, report weekly or whatever. It's not even necessary weekly. I think that's even overly frequent, but so they're doing good here anyway. To keep the community up to speed. But this community is solid, so I have nothing really negative to say. And this is again a minute negative. You notice that everything that I've said so far, the little negatives, which are not even the biggest negatives, don't really amount to the real issues here. There's no real big issue so far. So good. Okay, so let's continue here. I'm going to try to get back to my initial tab because I'm trying to, balance everything out here. So where were we? Let's go right back to the top here. I want to get into the gleev. This is the token we talked about. Let's look at governance for a second. Oh, we talked about this. This is good. I'm getting pop-ups everywhere, and I'm not sure what that's about. I get pop-ups regarding, virus protection, all of this. I don't know what's going on there. I think some credentials or something needs to be registered. I'm not sure. I got to dig into that, but nonetheless, that's that. Just that's what those pop-ups are there for. Gleev. I wanted to look at that for a second. Let's keep on going. Let's go scroll up. I'm getting out of hand here with these tabs. Jeez. Okay, governance manifesto. I think we already did that. Let's just open it up again. And then the handbook we talked about. I think we did the manifesto already. Yeah, we did. Let's go read that. Okay, let's move on. Now, I want to show you gleev. Okay, let's see what we got here with gleev. This is what gleev looks like. Okay, really interesting stuff here. It looks very typical, and you can see that you got your stream there. And here we are, guys. Here we are. This is the channel. So I posted. I only got 1 view, and this was 2 days ago. That's fine, no worries. But look, this is a new platform. 0 views everywhere. Okay, we're good here. But you can see there's a couple of issues that I'm sure they're gonna iron out. Okay, we just gotta call it what it is. We're gonna call a spade a spade. The language. There's a bit of a language issue here. Like they should try to figure out a way to limit the exposure to non-English. If I'm English speaker, I should be given only English videos in this case. So make the the exposure. But then I wonder, like, how many videos are they gonna eliminate for the main feed in that case? And you can see a good portion of them are in other languages. So I'm not sure if this is a strategy just to fill up the page. I'm not sure. At the end of the day, it needs to be kind of ironed out so it's more relatable to the user as far as what I'm interested in. Now, I'm wondering if the more I watch, maybe I watch some videos, I'll get to know my language and so on and so forth. But I don't think that would be a smart thing. I think that it should be a preference based on my choice, and get that going right away, because then you get engagement right away, not to like have to be exposed to languages that don't really interest me in that case. Okay, so pretty good. I like that. Let's see if I can sign in here real quick. Okay, let's see. That's my email, so you're more than welcome to email me there if you have any concerns. But trying to get out of all of this. Let's see. Should I show you some stuff here? See what I got. So my profile. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Very similar to a YouTube landing page or a page where you can get things going. You got your market, which I don't got anything, guys. I'm just showing you the studio. Okay, a little bit of the studio, how it looks like. You're posting videos. I got 3 already going, a couple of views here and there, nothing crazy, but you can see it's nice and clean. Of course, you got the channel, things going on here. If you want to, market yourself a certain way, little by little, the uploads, I don't know, ongoing uploads and payments. I got nothing, no payments yet. Welcome to payments, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and the token, creator tokens are coming later this year. So, a little bit more still being in the works, but which is very, very interesting to get more monetization options here for the community. Now, this right here, the YouTube partner program. So it's based on like you signing up and basically linking your YouTube channel. Again, back to this, you get rewarded if you link up your YouTube channel. But I would love maybe the team to actually get into my concern here. Like, I don't want to sacrifice my YouTube channel. I don't want to sacrifice any of my current, networks that I got going. So is this going to put me in a scenario? How can they prove that? How can they guarantee that? And that's one of the issues, that YouTube and other platforms won't punish me for sharing the content, especially via API. Okay, so for me, that's a concerning thing. So the studio looks good, guys. Like, what else could we say? I'm going to be posting here frequently. Expect that. I'm going to be posting every video, including this one here on gleev. So it might be a good opportunity for you to just go check it out. and watch the video there again and see how it plays out. Give some feedback. You know, it's pretty fast. In fact, it uploads a lot faster than YouTube does and other platforms, so that's a good thing. So a lot of good features. We're just waiting for a little bit more. You can see that it's lacking a little bit, but it's new, right? It's still new. And you go back to Gleev, you can see this is what you expected. Okay, so let's move on. That's Gleev. That's one of the applications. Now imagine if a content creator wanted to make their own platform, their own network, where I can host different creators on there. That would be interesting, like expanding your own little network of channels that you basically recruit. Really interesting capabilities here for JOYSTREAM. All right, let's move on. What else? We're kind of getting there. We're wrapping it up. I want to take a look at, we talked about the ecosystem. 2 applications right now on that ecosystem. Utility, we talked about. At the end of the day, we're gonna do a little bit of a summary soon. Let's talk about partnerships. Right now, there's no real partnerships. If we go to the About Us, really, that's all you really have at the current moment. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna fly through this. About Us, maybe they're considering these investors like partners, but really they're not really partners right now. I'm curious as if there is good opportunities to integrate technologies across the spectrum. AI projects, like, you know, we've seen a lot of partnerships happening with AI, and 2 AI crypto projects joining together and working together. Maybe even you know, server distribution, like talking about Altcoin and Arweave or something like that, where these videos going to be hosted on an IPFS type of platform type of thing. Maybe something like that might be in the works in the future. We don't know. They might even, you know, integrate their own technologies instead of having a partner. They might have these investors get in and maybe come up with their own software solution, basically encompassing all of this on their own. So I'm not sure, but there's no real solid, you know, indication that there are any partnerships happening, strategic partnerships. There's socials. Let's talk about that quickly. Guys, you know, the socials right now, you know, we're going to talk about that in a bit more detail as I go and do the roundup. I just to let you know, like, I did sense a bit of manipulation happening here. You know, when you see, you know, a few thousand subscribers basically leave the platform, and then a few thousand subscribers come back to the platform, basically, you know, unsubscribe and subscribe, it just feels like, you know, and I'm using third-party software, obviously, to kind of like scrape through their overall, you know, let's call it engagement here and their overall traction, and it doesn't look like the greatest when you see that type of you know, drop off in subscribers and you know, in them coming back. So they do have 52k followers. I don't know, like, when I see indications of manipulation, it makes me believe, like, is this really that truthful? Now again, this third-party software is what I use, and I've been using it for a while. It's been pretty reliable, and you know, one may argue maybe it's not, but it uses the X API, and it used the Twitter API very successfully in the past. And what I can say is that there's indications on certain dates, on specific days, where all of a sudden there's like over 1,000 people getting onto becoming followers, and that's a significant increase. And then the next day, you know, a couple hundred, up, down, and you know, it just very fluctuates too quickly, and that sign of some sort of manipulation. Now, I can't say that it's a fact, but I can say it is an indication. Now, if you continue going down and you look at some of the posts happening here, introduction to the partner program 2.0 on the Gleev app. Again, I want to know what this YouTube partnership is about and what kind of guarantees they can offer YouTube creators. I choose not to. I'm also on Rumble, and I choose not to use their sync feature because I don't want to get punished by YouTube, and that's the truth. A lot of us don't want to do that, so we got to get something happening there. There are some content creators that are already doing really well on the platform, which is really good. Mr. Blockchain, Unicrypt, or whatever, Flask. So let's see what's going on here with the future. They're pretty active here, not bad, pretty active, posting every so often. We're going to talk about some of the metrics in a second with regards to how much you know, how many followers and engagement they've been getting. All right, guys, we did good. This was pretty good overall type of scenario. There's one more thing that I want to show you. Let's go into a coin market cap here for a second. We can see that, you know, the volatility is definitely there. We're going to talk about the price action in a second as well. We're going to bounce around a little bit as best as we can, and you can see the volume has been increasing lately. A lot of traction happening. You know, just the membership on my Discord, they voted in for this project. They wanted me to cover it, so this is why I'm doing it, and so far so good. So the market cap is about $18 million right now, more or less, and of course with fluctuations of price it does affect it, but you know, in $19 million million, give or take. That is a very small cap altcoin. Okay, let's be real here. And there's a lot of possibility, you know, with regards to growth. Its narrative is not the most mature narrative. You know, a lot of companies that got in basically fizzled away. Look at Theta, for example, and you know, even Library, of course, they got hit hard. So this is the thing, no real first mover advantage just yet. So could JOYSTREAM be the one? That's the question. Could JOYSTREAM be the one? Now, what concerns me is a bit of the volume. You can see that in 24 hours, their trading volume is only 0.82% of the current supply, which is very, very low. This is something that I've been talking about with regards to only being listed on MEXC. For me, that's problematic, right? You're not getting the volume, you're not getting the liquidity, you're not getting the trading volume, which for me, I aim, when I start looking into projects, I look for projects that have a trading volume between 10 to 15%. This thing is really, really, really low. Now, again, if you look for a project that has all the perfect things, all the dots, basically all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, you know, it's probably going to be overvalued. I think that right now you're taking a bit of a chance. Of course, there's always risk in every asset that you scale into. But if you're looking for perfection, the price is going to reflect that. I think that, you know, maybe it's understood that people that are in a JOYSTREAM right now are not basically selling. They could just be buying, and the people that are, there's no volume because there's not much of a sell pressure, and there's not much volume because of that. But what about the buy pressure to bring in a little bit more volume? So this is something that we gotta really understand. Right now, the bear market is here. There's a lot of people fearful. However, I would still like about 10% at least of some trading volume of the total market cap. Okay, and we've seen a lot of projects do that in the last little while and maintain that level. Okay, so self-reported circulating supply, we're going to talk about that very soon as we go. And the total supply is about 1 billion, and fully diluted market cap, again, very, very small considering its price. MEXC is definitely there. Let's see if we can get access to the what's it called? Let's see what I can find it here. Discord, white paper, JOYSTREAM, the Explorer, no Explorer whatsoever here. Let's see here, nothing. Okay, there was a section where we could get into a little bit more detail. I'm not sure where I was able to find that, but so far so good. We're definitely on it here. Working group leader, was it here circulating? This is the token. No, we did good. A lot of good details here. Definitely. Genesis block, release schedule, we talked about that. That's pretty good. Working proposal system. Yeah, not bad if you want to look into that. I'm trying to find one little thing that might help us here. Security, launch press, storage bandwidth. This is interesting. Again, how they store it, JOYSTREAM, Notion, the storage aspect of things. Working group validation, another good one. Yeah, I think we covered all of this. The blockchain account generation. Let's see. And yeah, okay, we know that. Blockchain wallets. Let's see if you want to get a Polkadot vault, because it is, using the substrate of Polkadot, and founding members, start here. Okay, we're doing pretty good. Opportunities, common notion. Okay, let's go back to CoinMarketCap quick. Website, white paper, GitHub, Telegram, Twitter, so you can check all of that. So here is the network information. See what we got here. This is it. This is the good stuff. Okay, so a little bit of an issue here. Again, nothing crazy. So see, we're bouncing around here, which is nice. This is a full-on investigation here, guys. We're trying to really resemble researching, basically workflow. We can see that we have 1 and a bit billion tokens issued, total issuance. Now, if you look here, you have circulation 676. That's what they report. Okay, self-reported on CoinMarketCap. Staked, there's a bunch staked, a few 124 million, and then others 231 million. This is, you can see in circulation you got a big amount of it, but we know a lot of them are already in that big portion of the Genesis block, right? That for me is a bit concerning. A majority of the tokens are already in the Genesis block, which they're not really in the hands of holders just yet, or people like you and I. So the majority of the tokens are already accounted for in the Genesis, basically the main stakeholders. If you go here in the detail, you can see that it's reserved vesting. The amount of still that needs to be in circulation is about 34%. We're 10 months into the vesting period, so we still got more to be a little by little entering circulation bit by bit. So remember, it's linear, so it's going to be bit by bit, slow and steady, but they're going to be basically released to the majority of those people that basically held those large wallets that we've talked about earlier. Let's go revisit that again so we can make that connection. It's right here. If you go to the Joy, you can go down here. These guys right here, founding members, investors, these guys right here, the majority of those tokens, and you can see the vesting period, 24 months, and 12 months, we're already 10 months in. So they're still going to get a lot of their tokens unlocked, still about halfway more or less for these guys, probably more. And these guys are almost done, which is the investors, which is still a significant amount of the tokens, right? And if you go back to this pie chart right here, you can see that again, if you include the details, the vesting 34% still needs to get in there, okay, and then you got circulating, okay, 676. What's going on here? And that's ones that are already in circulation, and staked. There's some staked already, which is 12%. So this is all things that you got to consider with regards to his tokenomics. A good portion of them are still into the early investors of the project, okay? But again, you know, when the project grows, and it grows based on all these investments, you know, you might be one of those individuals that got in really early on a huge project, okay? So guys, you know, I do release one of those infographics alongside my deep dives, so we're gonna use this to wrap it up. Guys, JOYSTREAM, great project overall. It does offer a solution to a real world problem, which is the decentralization of you know, content creation. Basically being able to distribute your content without many you know, oversight of you know, influence type of thing. You want to be freedom of speech to talk about content that you're interested in without, you know, being punished. And this is what they're really trying to achieve here, guys, and I totally embrace it as a content creator myself. Ecosystem right now has massive potential and opportunity. I really like what it's trying to do with its ecosystem, giving content creators the ability to create their own network, basically a network of channels that you can integrate into your own brand, which is amazing. So gleev is an example, Pioneer is an example. These are two examples of how they're building their ecosystem and how we can be a part of their ecosystem by creating our own network, basically our video platform, video streaming platform. Very cool stuff. I'm wondering when they're going to get live streaming all integrated in that, because that obviously is a big part of content creation nowadays. Utility, publish videos, basically make purchases on the market, nominate validators. This is what you use it for. Participate in elections, interact with others, engage with proposals. These are all very typical, very great things. 10 out of 10. The roadmap, unfortunately, I had to call it as it is, but the good news is that that's a very small aspect of what's happening here. It's only a roadmap. They keep us active in the community. They have a blog. They have the Twitter account, which they're posting regularly. You see that there's videos of him actually speaking and keeping interacted with the overall community, so that's a bonus. But because there's no roadmap and no clarity to their future, that leaves a little bit of area of ambiguity. Not a hard one, but you know, there is a bit of a room for improvement there. The team, 8 out of 10. I think it's really good. It would be amazing if it was they were fully doxed. At least the founders and the main dudes that are, you know, basically organizing this, because they're not CEOs in this state. It's a DAO, so it's a decentralized autonomous organization. But at the end of the day, they're the face of the brand, and it would be nice to have them, you know, fully cleaned out, doxed, and explain their experience and their background, their education, their this, their that. And of course, you know, Badejo does make himself very available to the community, which, guys, is super solid. Actually, in fact, he just joined my personal Discord, which was great. And you know, of course, we were able to communicate on the Discord with the actual co-founder, so that was really good. He gets to the grassroots level, and that's a very a good sign of good dedication to his community. So guys, bonus. I like that as far as the team goes, and it would be great to have just a little bit more clarity there. And of course, even if there are a lot of talented individuals, it would be nice to know who's behind them, because right now we could have a stellar team, but without even knowing exactly who they are and what backgrounds they have, we cannot use that as a value proposition in itself. Okay, so that's something that we got to consider. We look for value propositions, and if the team is one of them, we got to know about it. If it's bullish, let us know who you are. We would love to know, right? And socials a bit of a sign of manipulation, like I mentioned. Unfortunate, like a few thousand followers dropping here and there. X followers, decent for its size, 55K, which is great. And in the last little while, in the last 30 days, they lost 1.8 thousand followers, which is a significant amount, basically down 156% in the last little while. I don't know what's going on there. Why would that be the case? And in the last little while, 110 posts in the last 30 days, still down basically in comparison to the last 30 days. So they got to keep their traction. It's only 10% down. I know it's the bear market. I know marketing dollars are tough to come around. Marketing dollars are expensive, but you need those marketing dollars. You need those marketing efforts, especially now when everybody's building and people are looking to get, because a lot of the content creators, especially in crypto, know that the bull run is when the magic happens. If you know, like, this is where you get a lot of the views, this is where you get a lot of the memberships, this is where all the magic happens in cryptocurrency, especially on YouTube. So the reality is they need to have this thing ready to go, fully fledged, before the bull run happens, if they really want to get some real good traction for cryptocurrency content creators, right? That should be part of their objective going forward, and I'm sure they're doing their best, guys. I'm sure. Which business wouldn't want to be full force right now? Tokenomics, 8 out of 10. I give this because there's a bit of contention with the fact that 85% are allocated to the founding members and early investors, early stakeholders, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to couple them up because at the end of the day, they have the same objective. They're not people like you and I that are just looking to hold some tokens. These are people that have a lot invested, and I'm sad to say that we have seen these big early investors in the past just dump on the market, and this is regardless of the vesting period. The vesting period's about halfway done, and we got to be real about this. Okay, the reality is that these venture capitalists or early members, whatever you want to call them, they get in there not only because they appreciate the project, but they're here to make gains. That's the reality. They're traders as well. So do we trust? It's not a faith-based system at all. We just got to be real. A good portion of the tokens are allocated to early members, and this is something that we got to worry about. But what we also have to understand is if they're investing in a project that they are fundamentally bullish on, why would they sell? And the reality is they keep themselves open to not having a max supply is because they don't anticipate that anybody's going to be selling. In fact, they're going to need tokens for liquidity so that they can get this ecosystem growing, and as these tokens keep on getting staked up, held for long-term investors, right? So this is something that we got to really truly understand, right? And a good portion of these founding members are part of the DAO, they're part of the organization. So I'm wondering how this all plays into things, right? This is how we gotta, these are levels of ambiguity that I guess a lot of us that are looking at the tokenomics and the distribution are gonna want to have some sense of clarity and ease of basically let us know what's good here. 10 months into vesting period, so with linear unlock, which is good, and no max supply. We talked about that plenty of times. Partnerships, none really happening there, only investors, and sometimes that's all you need. Those investors, who knows what they have in their back pocket, and it seems like, as you can see, those early investors have a good portion of a stake involved here, and they want to have a stake. Reason being is because they want to be strategic. They want to be able to work with the team. If they're going to be putting their connections on the line, they want a good stake of the project. That's a sign of confidence in the project. So you got to look at both ways. If a stakeholder is putting in capital and they know that and they feel like the project has potential, they also want to be considered like a partner and get actively involved. So this could be a positive thing partnership wise, and also some strategic partnerships would be nice with some other complementary blockchains perhaps, but maybe their objective is to be a one-stop shop where they do it all, right? So but this is where a roadmap would be nice. This is where a roadmap comes into play. Like, how do they plan on handling their server, allocate, like their server network? Like, is it going to be decentralized eventually, or is it just going to be like, the DAO governs the servers, right? Like, for me, that's not good enough. That's not embracing complete decentralization. Okay, so let's see what goes on in the future, what kind of changes are going to be making. And of course, back to the liquidity, MEXC only, this is where you can get it. This could be a negative, this could be a positive. I look at it currently as a negative in the fact that you're not going to get the liquidity for trading volume, but a positive if it gets listed on other exchanges. You're going to get a lot of good volume into the project once you get listed on other exchanges like KuCoin and Bitget and all the rest. Okay, so something to really keep an eye on, because I know a lot of traders focus on listings because they do bring in the volume and the overall pump into the market. Again, market cap is low, very, very small, very a lot of good potential for the future. Trading volume is low. Again, like I mentioned, I would have liked it to be a little bit more. Okay, let's move on. Overall consensus, my verdict. At the end of the day, my verdict is one that doesn't match those rankings to the right that I already talked about. Why? Because there's a lot more to a project than just looking at if it has a roadmap. You got to really allocate it accordingly. Is it that detrimental? No, but it would be nice. A fully doxed team. Okay, it's not fully doxed, but it's somewhat doxed. Okay, it could be a little bit more transparent, but is it that bad? No, it's not that bad. The white papers is not really there, an official white paper. It's in the works. No, okay, they don't have one, but they got a light paper and a handbook that has a lot of information that if you couple it all together and you're willing to put a little bit of elbow grease into it, you could definitely get a lot of the information that you're interested in. Get active in the community. The Discord is there. They're willing to help out and answer your questions. However, we still got to be clear. We need a white paper. We need this thing going ASAP, right? So it's a Polkadot layer 0, let's say, used on Polkadot, substrate of Polkadot. So you're going to get a lot of the benefits that Polkadot has to offer, but it is a layer 1 on their own. It's their own blockchain. Okay, so that's very important, and it has a lot of features with regards to EVM compatibility and the cross-chain compatibility. Okay, social media content creation, very hot narrative, especially lately in the media. We've been talking, a lot of issues happening lately with content creation and social media and media in general, and news and broadcast, all of the above, guys. So this is a very hot narrative, and decentralization of it is super, super important when you're looking for a problem and a solution to that problem. Okay, so strong value proposition in a decentralized media distribution idea here. Okay, we talked about the white paper, no max supply. We talked about that, guys, but there is a burning mechanism, and there's a lot to be said with regards to that. I'm hoping that the team comes up with a really good explanation as to their max supply. They already got something that's very good already, but it's not open mainstream yet. Okay, so there's a video there hanging around with one of the Discord members that he created. It, guys, well-spoken individual that was able to really clarify a lot of the ambiguity with regards to the max supply. But until they make an official, like, say, informative package here about that, we're just gonna have to hang tight. But I understand their strategy. I get their strategy. Okay, and Ethereum use a very similar strategy. It's about building an ecosystem and not constraining the max supply, because the ecosystem might need some flexibility there. Okay, team is not completely doxed, but is known to the public, right? If you do a bit of digging, you can find out what's going on with them, who they are, who the DAO members are, and so on, who's the co-founder. He's there on X and so on and so forth, and on social. So it's not like he's hiding anywhere. It's just that he's not fully doxed, and making it easy for us to figure out who's behind it. Unfortunate, but that's it is. Team has a strong background in blockchain, web stack, full development, Web3, computer science, mathematics, all of the above. Strong team overall. If you look into their educational background and some of their conversations that they have on YouTube, it's great stuff, guys. Very intelligent individuals. So I feel good about that. Team has a strong educational background and experience. Marketing could use an influencer, you be honest. Like, it could use somebody to kind of bring a face to the platform. Of course, that's going to cost an investment, of course, but we need that now. If you think about it, the bull run could be around the corner, and this is where you got to get that going. You got to get that going where we're going to get influencers on board, especially crypto influencers. That would be epic, right? So guys like me, I'm going on there. I'm going to try to see how it works out, posting videos on a daily basis. So be prepared for that one. Gleev is a working product, which is great. A lot of these projects that don't even have working products and they're pumping up to the moon and they don't even have anything going for them. The JOYSTREAM actually has working product, which is great. Great stuff. Obviously still, you know, working on it, you know, work in progress, but they have something going. The engagement on X looks a little bit manipulated, like I mentioned. Yeah, it's a tough thing to call. You know, when you see thousands of followers coming and going on a particular date, it just kind of doesn't look good. Great Discord community, guys. So definitely amazing. Feel free to go there. You'll feel right at home to ask any questions you want. No matter the difficulty, and they'll be there to help you out, so which is good. And of course, this is how you get the distribution, rewarded, validators, creators, app rewards, salary, financing, and bounties. These are all ways that you're going to see a lot of these Joy tokens hit the market, which is great, unless it gets voted into the DAO. And again, because there's no max supply, it could be the DAO sees value in issuing more tokens in the future. Okay, so this is something that you got to look into, is what is a DAO? If you're not familiar, there's a lot of good information that you may want to look into. All right, Joy, with the market cap of Theta, guys, we're going to compare it to Theta. Why? Because Theta at one point was the largest market cap type of token in this somewhat of a narrative, and it went up really high. The market cap was massive at one point. That was $13 billion in the previous bull run. 13 billion. Okay, so that's massive. Now let's say, and its current market cap is obviously nowhere near that, but you can say that ultimately, if Joy would reach up to Theta's current market cap, you're looking at a 32x, which would hit you at about 86 cents, which for me is like saying, like, okay, we're in a bear market, so that means that we're going to just stay here. We're not going to get into a bull run where at least we're going to get to previous highs. So let's say we start thinking about, okay, what was Theta's previous high? And mind you, Theta didn't have a working product in the previous bull run. Didn't have much going on. It had some streaming with NASA, something like that, and it had two tokens which ruined things. I didn't like the fuel, the T fuel and all that came out, and I'm hoping JOYSTREAM doesn't come up with all these different tokens and start confusing things, because that, in my experience, as soon as another token gets entered to the ecosystem, it starts to hurt the ecosystem. So try to keep things clear and consistent. So Joy, with the market cap of 13 billion, Theta's market cap of the previous bull run could do a 600x. Guys, that's crazy, right? So I'm just putting it out there, like Theta being its competitor within the same narrative, hitting a $13 billion market cap. What about if JOYSTREAM hits that same level? And we can see clearly that JOYSTREAM is offering a greater value proposition than Theta, has a working product that actually is doing something. So that's very important. Now, going forward, what about if not only do we hit that $3 trillion market cap in cryptocurrency in general, because that's the previous total high of the market cap of crypto in total, okay, what about if we go to 5 trillion? Okay, let's be modest. 5 trillion. Let's take 4 trillion. We make a higher high on the total. This thing could do more than a 600x if it's going to replicate Theta's price action, right? Now, let's be modest about this all. What about if we just get a 2, and that would hit us above the $20 mark? What about if we hit $10? Guys, that's great gains. That's great gains. Now, of course, as a momentum trader myself, like, I would have to wait for momentum to show me signals like, okay, the market's showing weakness. Maybe we should start taking a bit of profit. So I hate putting like hard targets like that to say it's going to hit here and this is where I'm going to be taking profits. But at the end of the day, guys, I give this project a very high rating. And because of the value proposition and the potential that it has to disrupt current things that are in our current media, and on top of it, adding a very important solution to a problem that we have, guys, looking pretty good. Okay, so again, do what you will, do your do all your research. This is not financial advice, but I would definitely look into this in a little bit more detail. Make your decisions, guys, because the up and coming bull run is around the corner. And of course, here on the channel, we look for opportunities. Guys, I know you want to talk about charts, so let's do that. Let's see if I can get a good chart here for JOYSTREAM. JOYSTREAM, you know, has been doing pretty good in the last little while, but then again, it dipped. It did come down for a little bit of a break, and it's absolutely normal in this bull run that we expect little breaks here and there. But at the end of the day, what else do we expect? Like, buy the dip opportunities, of course. Things rally up, we take profits, and that's a very, very scary thing. And if you consider what Bitcoin has been doing in the last little while, honestly, Bitcoin has been doing nothing. But of course, you know, if Bitcoin is doing nothing, what is JOYSTREAM going to be doing? Probably nothing as well. And this is the accumulation phase that many of us have been looking for. You know, accumulation is where the magic really happens. It tests your nerves. It tests the reality of your investment strategy. How much fundamental bullishness do you really have in the project? And if you're fundamentally bullish, you will definitely start looking into DCing nice and slowly into a project like JOYSTREAM that has some good fundamentals. So let's see if I can find a good chart on JOYSTREAM. Let's see here on TradingView, JOYSTREAM. Oops, sorry guys. I got one going already. Joy. Let's see if I can bring this up real quick. All right, and right now it's up 5% for today, looking really, really good, really strong, guys. Yeah, this is where the magic happens. Now the question is, for this to current price action, are we gonna make a higher high here? Is JOYSTREAM actually gonna make a higher high? My opinion, the way things look right now, I don't think so. Okay, I wouldn't be taking full-on risk right now. Why? Because momentum is coming down. You see downward sloping momentum with higher highs on the price action. Okay, so for me, this is not looking good on the daily. Could be getting a confirmation high, a lower high, and then eventually coming back down to test the lower ranges again, to test this previous low. Breaking below this previous low, guys, is, you know, not a great thing. The JOYSTREAM needs to hold pretty much this level. Okay, breaking below this low basically confirms a lower low, and if we make a lower high and then make a lower low, lower highs, lower lows, trend is your friend, the probability of rolling over here is significant. However, I wouldn't wait for that. What I would be waiting for is the momentum of the RSI to get oversold. Once it gets oversold, I would be happy to start entertaining a buy the dip opportunity. Right now we're in the chop zone here on the daily, which means that we could be going sideways for the next little while, maybe chopping around here, going sideways. And what could happen, in fact, with bullish projects, and it happens all the time, it happened with GFAL, it happened with Nakamoto many times, and it could be happening with Nakamoto right now with many projects, is that the momentum actually gets a full reset into oversold scenarios, and then the price action, all it does is go sideways. Guys, that's a sign of bullishness. It neutralizes the negative momentum. So if that happens, where we see the momentum get a full reset, oversold scenarios, and then get some bullish divergence, while this price action would go sideways, and that would be class B bullish divergence. If we absolutely get bottom, double bottom type of scenarios, that would be an indication that maybe we're picking up enough bullish bids to actually break to higher levels and make that higher high. But as of now, you're taking risk. Higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the RSI, and we're getting follow through price action right now by potentially creating a lower high here on the price action, guys. So in my opinion, if you happen to take profits earlier on, that was the time. And currently, in my opinion, I would be waiting. A good level to watch out for, obviously, there's this level now that we got to watch out for, and the bottom of the volume gap. There's a bit of a volume gap happening here, and you can see there's an empty zone of volume here. Why? Look left. Price action just went up, and that was it. And it went up really quickly with no supply and demand in between to act as support. So really, if we break below this area between this white line and in here, we can snap all the way down to about, 2 cents. And that would be a decent buy opportunity, especially if the daily is completely oversold. If we're oversold, you're looking at a bit of a dip down here again. And of course, this is the bearish scenario. And we're talking about a 17% dip from just this thick white line to this green arrow, where I would be considering buying the dip. But look, we're actually moving up right now. So really, what we could be seeing in the immediate short term is a bit of a rejection, maybe an M pattern, maybe an inverse cup and handle, maybe a head and shoulders formation. But we're gonna have to see here, because the daily is right now making lower lows on the momentum and trekking to the downside, and it's only in the chop zone. What I would be interested right now is looking at the 4 hour. In fact, I wouldn't be trading the daily. The daily looks bearish. It looks like it's trying to create a pivot point, so I wouldn't be trading the daily. And as a short-term trader, of course, I have my long-term spots that I'm not trading, but up for my short-term positions, looking at the 4-hour, and I'm looking at the fact that it did run up based on momentum, and it didn't even get oversold here. So are we going to get overbought and potentially take some profit and then roll over? The MACD looks like the pale green histogram bars are ready to roll over and come down. We got no EMA cross just yet, so it could be getting a little bit more strength to the upside. Why? Because your risk going short right now is this. Your risk is that it actually gets overbought on the 4-hour. If it gets overbought on the 4-hour, I will entertain shorting positions. I would entertain taking profit, but we're not even there yet. Now, does it have to get there? Look, we're making higher highs on the price action and a double top on the RSI, which is Class C bearish divergence. So for me, that is a bit of a divergence, but nothing strong. Class C's are not strong, and if we do get a bit of a divergence, what kind of dip are we going to get based on Class C? This thing could come down, no doubt. Nobody has a crystal ball and tell you exactly where it's going to go. But probability based on statistics, getting into a fresh long based on both the daily and the 4-hour is a bit risky. I wouldn't be getting into a fresh long right now. The time to go long was potentially here, but it wasn't even completely oversold. I'm waiting for oversold conditions at least on the 4-hour, ideally on the daily, giving me signs of bullish divergence at horizontal level of support. The biggest area of support of horizontal levels of support is 1, 2, 3. Right here at about 2 cents. You got to admit, this is nice. Bottom of a volume gap, nice level of support of previous consolidation. We already came back from a nice back test. Now we're coming up, getting a confirmation high, lower high. Let's come back down, make another leg to the downside and hit this level. Once we get there, we'll entertain a DCA, and the next level to DCA is down here, because again, we got the bottom of this consolidation and we also have the top of the volume gap that could act as support where the bulls come in and protect this zone. If they don't protect it, again, we're going to have to decide, are we DCAing again down lower levels and slowly DCA? Guys, don't try to catch a falling knife. Don't try to catch those bottoms. We're going to wait for oversold conditions, and then we're going to look for those horizontal supports. First, momentum, then horizontal support. We'll snag the horizontal support as close as we can to when we get an indication that the bears are done pushing to lower levels. Right now, the bearish momentum is still in play on the daily, and going long is going against the daily momentum. And as right now, the 4-hour momentum is pretty much done. The majority of the move, in my opinion, is already exhausted. So getting into a fresh long, both on the daily and the 4-hour, is a bit risky. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a huge favor. Slap that like button if you do appreciate it. And of course, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join that Discord. It is a great community, lots of good alpha trade setups, fundamentals, and all that good stuff. Guys, I'm live tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Take care, have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.